Today I'm going to explain how to play Yeti Trek, a quick strategic game for 2 players. To begin, let's lay out the 4 mountain range tiles. They can be in any orientation or either side as long as they interlock. And then place the summit tile at the end. The goal of Yeti Trek is to move across the mountain range and be the first to reach the summit. Set the rondelle and avalanche tokens to the side. Each player chooses a color and takes the corresponding player card. Each player also has a matching Yeti meeple and cube for the rondelle. Place the meeples at the start of the mountain range. Choose one player to go first and give them the Yeti foot token. Place the first player's cube on this space of the rondelle and place the second player's cube on this space. Give all 6 dice to the second player. We're now ready to start the first round. The second player rolls all of the dice and splits them into 2 groups however they wish. Then the first player selects which group they want and takes those dice. The second player then takes the remaining group. Now, take turns until both players have no dice left. On your turn, you can do 2 things. The first is to optionally move on the rondelle to gain a bonus. The second is to discard dice to move on the mountain range. When moving on the rondelle, it must be clockwise. You can always move 1 space for free. For each additional space you move this turn, you must reduce the value of one of your dice by 1. You may never be in the same space as your opponent. Always skip this space. For example, the blue player could move 1 space for free, skipping over their opponent at the same time, and then pay to move 2 additional spaces, reducing the value of these 2 dice by 1. You may gain the bonus of the space that you end your movement on. You do not gain any bonus if you do not move on the rondelle this turn, and you never have to move on the rondelle. After the rondelle, you must discard at least 1 die. You can discard any number of dice as long as they're the same color. The dice that you discard this turn determines how you can move your Yeti on the mountain range. Your Yeti moves 1 space at a time to spaces it's currently adjacent to. You can move as many spaces as you want as long as these requirements are met. The color of the space that you end your movement on must match the color of the dice discarded this turn. The total on the dice discarded must be greater than or equal to the total pips on all the spaces you moved onto this turn. You cannot move through or end on any space occupied by an avalanche token or your opponent's Yeti. For example, the blue player could discard both of their black dice and make the following movement: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is possible because the space they end on is black, matching the color of the dice discarded. In addition, the total on their dice is 10, which is greater than or equal to the 9 pips that their Yeti moved through this turn. After a player finishes the rondelle step and the discard dice and move step, it is now the next player's turn. Continue taking turns back and forth this way until both players have no dice left. When both players are out of dice at the end of a turn, pass the first player foot to the other player, give all dice to the second player, and begin a new round. The game ends immediately when one player reaches any space on the summit. This player wins. Lastly, I'll explain the different bonuses on the rondelle. During your movement this turn, the piton space allows you to treat all black spaces as if the number on the space is 1 lower than what is shown. The avalanche space allows you to immediately move 1 or both of the avalanche tokens. They can be placed in any empty space. They cannot be placed adjacent to each other. Yetis cannot move through or end movement on avalanche tokens. The Yeti roar space allows you to immediately pick any 1 die and increase or decrease its value by 1. Dice can't go above 6 and are discarded if they reach a value of 0. The flat ground space allows you to treat all dice with value 1 or 2 to be any color of your choice this turn. The Yeti Hop Space allows you to move through spaces with avalanche tokens or another Yeti on them this turn. Treat these spaces as if their value was 0. The Steady Pace space allows you to treat 1 die as if it's another color this turn. A black die can be considered as white, a white die can be treated as blue, and a blue die can be treated as black. And that's it. Thanks for checking out Yeti Trek. I hope you have fun.